Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday evening. So it is Tuesday and I made a commitment to go. So weird. Facebook is asking me if I want to tag a random person in my video. It must have thought I said her name, which I did not. So interesting. Anyways, weird. So it is Tuesday and I have made a commitment to go live on Tuesdays and do Teachable Tuesday. So tonight's topic that we are going to talk about is cruelty-free. What does it mean if a product is cruelty-free, and why is that important, and why should we care? And what does it mean, and what do we look for to see if something truly is cruelty-free? Because sometimes it can be tricky. So first, let's talk about why it's important, right? So if a product is cruelty-free, meaning that it is not tested on animals, and some of you may not care. For me, I am an avid animal lover, and even if you're not an animal lover, I think that you can still have sympathy for the fact that they do feel pain, they do feel stress, they do feel anxiety, they do have these emotions and feelings that we as people have, and they can feel pain, which is another reason why I think it's important to not use products that are not cruelty-free. We live, I don't know if you guys can hear, but my dog is snoring super loud. But anyways, we live in a time in which a lot of products are tested on animals, and it's really not necessary. There was a point in time where maybe it was necessary to test on animals to see if it was safe, or that was the best method that we had. That's no longer the case. It's really not necessary any longer, which I'll go into in just a minute. But one of the reasons, I don't know if we always are aware of what goes on in these labs and when these animals are tested on. So I'm just gonna quickly kind of go through some of the things that are done to these animals that are tested on. And I am not just speaking cosmetics, but that's the main focus of this. But it's not just cosmetics, it's pharmaceuticals, it's all kinds of things. But I think cosmetics is probably one of the biggest, things that we see, that we use on a daily basis, that we can do something about. So a lot of times when these animals are tested on, what is happening is they are injected, or they are being force-fed something that is potentially harmful to them or known to be harmful. They're exposed to radiation. Sometimes organs and tissues are surgically removed with the intent to cause damage. And they're also subjected to frightening situations that can create anxiety and depression. For those of you just jumping on, I am talking about cruelty-free, what it means to be cruelty-free, and what happens to these animals when they are exposed to lab testing. So, cosmetics specifically, some of the things that, sorry, I have notes because I want to make sure that I stay on topic because I have a tendency not to. So some of the things that are specifically done to animals that have cosmetic testing done. So skin and ear irritation tests are done, and so these chemicals are rubbed onto shaved skin or dripped into the eyes of restrained, usually rabbits, but it could be any animal. So they'll restrain them and they'll drip things into their eyes or rub it on their shaved skin. They are repeatedly force-fed for weeks or months to look for signs of illness or health hazards such as cancer or birth defects. And a widely condemned lethal dose test is done where these animals are forced to swallow large amounts of test chemicals to determine whether or not it will cause death. And a lot of times people think that this is needed to be done in order to ensure the safety, and that's just simply not true. One of the things that can be done is there are tons of products out there that we know are safe to use, natural products that we, and so instead of, and that doesn't need to be done. Sorry, my internet is kind of being funky, so I'm going to see if I can fix that, which I don't know if it's gonna let me. Well, whatever, hopefully it doesn't go out. But anyways, so something that we can do instead of, creating new products and testing on animals is use products that are known to be safe. There are hundreds and thousands of products out there that are already known to be safe, so we can use those. Also, our computer technology is pretty amazing these days, and actually a lot of things can be determined whether or not they are safe just by using computer technology, or also human cells and tissues. And I'm not talking about aborted fetuses or anything like that, but I mean, we can get stem cells, we can get human tissues without causing any harm to people or fetuses. And that's something that can be tested on. So there's really no reason to be testing on lab animals any longer, but it's still done. Also, something that I just learned when I was doing my research on this today is that under the FDA, actually, there are a lot of animals that are not considered animals. So rats, mice, guinea pigs, they are not actually considered to be animals. And so even if what it means is that we don't need legal permission to test on these animals because they're not considered animals. They're not a dog or a cat or even a bunny. Those three tend to be a little bit more protected, but they don't feel any less than a rat does. And I'm not a big rodent person, but I can still feel for them. And also, I don't know if you knew this, but lab testing on animals is a multi-million-dollar industry, which is pretty disgusting to me, anyway. So, that being said, a little bit off my soapbox for that. So, if you are somebody who, can feel for this and would like to purchase products that are cruelty-free, because there are a lot of them out there, sometimes that can even be tricky. And that's a little bit sad because we shouldn't have to investigate our products quite so much, but we do. So just because something says cruelty-free does not mean that it is necessarily cruelty-free. If it says cruelty-free, all that it means is that the end product was not tested on animals. It does not mean, however, that something along the line of production, one of the ingredients along the line of production was not tested on animals. And a lot of times that is the case, that one of the products is tested on animals at some point in production, but the end product itself is not tested on animals. So that's what a lot of times cruelty-free on a label actually means. Sometimes you'll see companies put like a bunny picture on the product, again, suggesting that it's cruelty-free, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that it is either. It just means the end product is not. So the way that you can actually know whether or not something is truly cruelty-free and not tested on animals is one of the agencies called the Leaping Bunny. So the Leaping Bunny is an agency. It was actually 8 national animal protection groups that banded together to create the Leaping Bunny whatever they want to call it, Coalition for Consumer Information and Cosmetics is what it is called. So Leaping Bunny, if something is Leaping Bunny certified, then what that means is that nothing in the production line at any point was tested on animals, nor was the end product tested on animals. And so what you want to look for is, if you can see, and I know it's kind of small, but this bunny symbol here, which it's kind of hard to tell that it's a bunny, but here's the little whiskers in the ear, and then it's got like these little like circles around it for Leaping Bunny. So you want something that is Leaping Bunny certified, and that is one of the only agencies that I have come across in my research that is super, super particular about making sure that at no point in production was something tested on animals, and also we're not, going being tricky about like I said, the FDA may not always consider like a rat or a mouse or a guinea pig an animal. And so Leaping Bunny is just one of the few agencies that truly does make sure that the product is cruelty-free. If that's important to you, it's important to me, and I think it should be important to all of us, because honestly, I think that's where it starts, right? We say that it's okay to test on animals and that animal lives do not matter. And then it goes into, you know, maybe people, or at what point do we consider a human life to matter? And I just think that the more we disregard the feelings and the harm, intentional harm that we are causing to a living being, the lines get a little bit blurred. And I'm not here to like be political or anything like that. Everybody is entitled to their own views, but I just don't see any reason why animal testing is still being done when it really doesn't need to be. There's really no reason that it needs to be. We have other technology that is able to tell us whether or not something is safe, and there are tons of products out there that are known to be safe and can be used. So it's up to you what you choose to do, but that's my teachable moment for Tuesday. And of course, I am going to let you all know Lime Life by Alcone is completely cruelty-free. All of our products are Leaping Bunny certified, so that is something to be really proud of. So if you are somebody who is looking for skincare or cosmetics that are cruelty-free and very, very effective, very high quality, I would definitely love to talk to you about some of the options that we have for you. So have a wonderful night, and I hope you learned something, and I hope that moving forward you pay a little closer attention to the labels of the products that you're using. Thanks, guys.